Wow. Okay. So this guy said he shot me an email and he said that he will effort 9:30. I told him he could come in earlier if he needed to because of airports and things like that. And I know he's on a clock, so let me go ahead and bring him in. And it is our buddy Garza. Where are you, sir?
I'm currently at my boys' house, and then I have to pick them up early from school, and then head straight to the airport. So, yeah. My middle son had an award ceremony this morning, so I'm just getting in.
No worries.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Happy New Year, man! It's been a minute.
Happy New Year. It has, and that's why I wanted to have you in this morning to kind of break down 2025 from your perspective. We had Parky in last week, and I wanted to ask you what you specifically learned with your time with Beyond Goals in 2025.
Man, that's a great question. I
like dropping a bomb early on, yeah.
I specifically learned that I think our message and our niche of what we have is extremely useful for youth sports these days. I think as we continue to build our reputation within the United States and having I don't say more clients, but just more players that we work with, you really start to understand the importance of the mental side and aspect of what the game can bring. And I think coming from a holistical standpoint and kind of point of view has really allowed us to just gain some beautiful and amazing relationships with people from all over, not only within the United States, but all over the world. And we continue to try and do the best that we can with what we have. And I'm very grateful. I was just at the Rookie Symposium last week. I had to do a couple of panels with all of the rookies who got drafted. Only 20% of them will sign first team contracts, which is, there's 90 players. So you'll have 18 players that will truly make it. Other than that, you have another 60% that will be in MLS Next Pro. So they'll be on, non-guaranteed contracts. And then you have another 20%, another 18 kids that will not sign anything and hopefully be able to go to USL Championship or League One. But our theme this year, and I think something that I've learned over the last couple months, and I use it a lot within my mentorship, but our theme this year to eradicate discrimination is based off gratitude. So I think from 2025, I will use that word as that's something that we talked a lot about over the last bit of the year, was just the word gratitude and how to always have it serve as an awareness mindset instead of it being a feeling or an emotion. Have it be a mindset of how you carry yourself each and every day. So I think that is my biggest thing that I've learned over the last year. It came with a lot of different challenges with Beyond Goals, but in terms of scalability and everything else, but just grateful for what we do.
How grateful are folks these days? And I mean by that, gratitude can come in a bunch of different forms. It can come in the way of gratitude for your place, gratitude for family, gratitude for those folks that are closest to you, gratitude for what you're able to accomplish and those that have helped you along the way. How grateful are folks these days that you come across about their lot in life?
Yeah, I think sometimes just teaching them what gratitude can be. And I think sometimes helping kids understand what gratitude is, because I think most of us these days, and I'd say most people, we base our happiness off of instant gratification. So it's, these kids these days, it's the same thing. It's instant gratification of getting a like on social media or whatever it may be, or having a certain amount of followers or whatever it is. But sometimes I think life is so much more than just those instant gratification moments, and helping them understand that what do you have around you at all times and what's there to support you? How can you take the good out of the bad? How can you always look at the bright side? And I think that's an important piece. That's an ultimate goal. It's a very hard thing, especially for us. Whenever they first gave us this project and this theme to eradicate discrimination within our league and using gratitude, my first thought was obviously a negative. We We have used, our themes of respect or competitive stress or understanding moments on how to get rid of racism and sexism and Semitism and all the isms. But gratitude, I was like, what the hell? How are we going to make somebody, understand how to not be a racist by helping them understand how thankful and grateful they are. And so that was a huge hurdle for even me to understand, to kind of help others see things differently. You can't save the world, but I think in terms of getting people on the right page and on the same page in terms of respect, it all comes down to that. So it's been an interesting few months for me, traveling a lot, doing a lot of speaking engagements, and just kind of learning from others, listening with open ears and open eyes, and just continuously building not, I think, only our reputation and staying relevant within the game today, but just continuously learning from greats that have lived some pretty cool lives.
How hard is it to listen these days? Because I would imagine at some points that even as adults, we kind of listen through folks at times instead of through folks, and that then what they're trying to put upon us, even in a casual conversation. If somebody starts to, and if you're thinking in yourself, you're having lunch with somebody, you're having to sit down, and in your mind it's like, man, I got to think about this, I got to think about, and that other person at the other end of the table is talking, and you're just kind of listening through them, and they're trying to tell you something important. There's a difference, I think, at times that folks don't necessarily understand about listening through someone, listening to someone, and do we get in that sometimes where you're just kind of thinking about other things more than you should instead of being present with that person with you?
Oh, I get caught doing that all the time, because I have 1,000 different things going through my mind at all times. But I think listening is an important skill and trait that we all need, especially as a former player. You usually have people who tell you an exercise and they'll only tell you once. They won't give you the direction again. And if you can't figure it out, well, then guess what? You're probably going back to the locker room with some coaches if you did not listen. So I think in that sense, I think listening is key and vital and essential. But I think that's the beauty of kind of what Parky and I do, is that we get on with these calls with kids, and you are able to really notice which kid wants to take all the information in and which kid is going to most likely apply all the lessons that are learned or all the experiences that we have gone through, and they are able to implement those things in their everyday lives. But you also get the kids. Parky and I were just having this conversation yesterday. A mentee that I have had in the past and a mentee that he currently works with right now, that is just so hard to get through because he's not paying attention, or he's on his phone half the time during a session. So, it's one of those things to where it can only be up to that person who wants to continuously grow and in the right direction. We've had a few of those before that we've worked with, to where these kids have an enormous and such huge amount of potential within what they can do with the beautiful game. But if they don't have that quality, if they don't have those character traits, then it's going to get them nowhere, just talent. So, sometimes those kids might have to learn the hard way, but we can say we are more than thankful that I'd say probably about 99% of the kids that we work with are very good listeners and really take everything that we say to heart.
And today, these days, you mentioned trying to focus on the bright side of things with all of those external pressures that we talk about, social media that we might look at too much, the person off to our shoulder that might sit there and go for the dig instead of going for the compliment, which really, to go for a compliment is easier and makes more of a lasting impact than going for the dig. But some folks sit there and they want to do the dig just because they want to get that leg up on the person that they feel threatened by. How difficult is it for mentees these days? Because I know it's difficult for adults these days to look at the bright side of things and understand that it's all a part of what's going on day to day. How hard is it to be optimistic when it seems like it's really easy not to be?
Yeah, I think that's going back to the gratitude mindset. I think that's what's, I mean, what I've learned over the past few months, and it's something I've always implemented and practiced for myself. But um, you know, gratitude can increase so many different benefits within anyone's life. It can help them look at the bright side, have a more positive attitude towards things, less stress and anxiety. It can encourage cooperation. It can build long-term success. There are a list of 30 different things that gratitude can do, but you can only achieve that by practicing it. And I think that's a huge piece of it. It's all of us. Once again, all of us want this instant gratification of, I'm doing something right now, I need to be master at it today. And I think even gratitude takes practice. It takes time. It takes the more understanding you have towards it, then the more optimistic you can be about everything that's going on. And that there's challenges that we all face each and every day. And I think even going back to the Rookie Symposium, it was helping these young kids understand that their journey is just beginning. They've been student athletes their whole entire life, and they've managed things differently. But the reality of it is that they're now stepping into a different business. They're stepping into a business to where I don't care if you're a student athlete. I don't care, what's going on sometimes in your life, as long as my life is okay and I'm taking care of my family, because it's a different world out there in a professional environment than it is in a collegiate. And I'd say it's much more, the relationship sometimes can be transactional, because you're fighting for one simple objective. But at the end of the day, I look back at my career. I talk to Parky every single day, and I'm sure Parky can say the same. But we don't talk to many more teammates that we have or have had within our careers, and that's sometimes how it goes. But at the end of the day, you see them, you give them a huge hug. You're brothers for life. But sometimes I think people underestimate the relationships that are made within the beautiful game, because yes, there are some beautiful friendships that are made, but it's a different life. And I think sometimes helping those kids understand the life that they're stepping into, it's not an easy one. But how they can still use gratitude within being the 90 draftees of being selected, and still, how many kids would die to be in their shoes.
Okay, let me ask you this: how long do I have you this morning?
I have a 10 o'clock cutoff.
Okay, so that's okay. So I just wanted to make sure I didn't
Our
I'll get
normal,
you.
our normal time. Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that I didn't need to sit there and it's like, yeah, I got to make my flight. So I just wanted to make sure that our normal time is normal time. Okay, Rookie Symposium. I wanted to that, and you mentioned the idea of there's only X number of folks that are going to be making it to Major League Soccer. You have all the other different levels, and you also wanted to eradicate discrimination, and it's something that sadly we see too much of these days, whether it's ultras who are yelling at the players for the club that they claim that they are supporters of. They're yelling at the opposition, thinking that they are supporting, that they're the fans that they're supporters of. It happens in locker rooms, sadly. How prevalent is discrimination from the feedback that you get, whether it's at the sim or just in your everyday? How big a thing is this to tackle these days?
It is. It's something you can't hide from, right? It's not something that I don't think is going to go away. Um, in all honesty, it's not anything that we can just snap our fingers and just not deal with anymore. It's something that is going to continue to happen for, I think, generations to come. You can't hide away from it. You can't shy away from it. But I do think you can learn things from it. And I think that you can try and put everyone on the same path, to where there is a term of respect. There is a term of seeing equally. And I think there's no better way than using sport to do so, because especially with soccer, you are dealing with so many different cultures and beliefs and religions and ways of being, ways of raising, and the way people have been taught within their youth. But there is no better way to try and help people see eye to eye and have a certain objective to make this world a better place. And I think athletes and I think people who do have a platform of kind of where I think more people listen to them rather than to others. And I think that's a big piece of what we just talked about, is that you have this role model ship and ability to spread a great message to others. And I think that's a huge piece of what we do in eradicating discrimination within the league. Is, yes, in my case, it is only to help player on player. It is not to get rid of the ultras or the other fan bases that are dealing with things. For us, it is player on player, because there's been too many of them. So it is to help them navigate their new settings, their new environments, but also come from a level of respect and finding a way to meet in the middle and kind of helping them through that. And with that, then again, it just becomes their responsibility and their accountability to not only represent the league, represent their country or whatever they represent their team, represent their family, the name on the back of their jersey, and everything that they are in terms of that reputation, but also using that platform to do good. And I think a lot of athletes these days do not understand that. In any sport that they play, they feel that they are entitled sometimes to do whatever the heck it is that they want, say whatever they want, do whatever they want, and it won't have any repercussions. And I think, with being an athlete, you hold a certain sense of responsibility and a standard and expectation from those around you. So why not do good within your community, and why not do good with those around you? Because there are people who do look up to you a lot of the time.
Is there more today than when you were a player and when you started? Is this something that really does need to be tamped out at a greater rate than it had been in the past?
Yeah, I think this is why we have created this initiative. In 2023, I believe there were actually, no, in 2022 and 2023, I want to say there were over 25 reports of player on player discrimination. And I think that's uncalled for. I dealt with something in Cincinnati that was uncalled for in 2020, right before COVID year, where our head coach got fired because of something that was discriminatory. So I think having me on board and being able to share certain experiences and things that I've gone through as a player that has been detrimental to an organization and also to your team and to others, and separates locker rooms. There's a lot of things that I think can happen. And so sharing the message and trying to do good. Within 2024, we only had 2 reported incidents. In 2025, we had another 2 reported incidents. So, I mean, going from, over 20 to 2 and 2 within 2 years, I think, with what we're doing has been very influential for the players, and to hold them responsible. And I think it means that much more having somebody who's been in their shoes and somebody who sees the bros in the locker room from way back when, rather than having somebody that's from legal team and walking in with a suit and telling players what you can and cannot do. So I do think there has been an enormous push towards doing good within the league, but I think it's not the only league that needs to have it. I think every league needs to have something to where it's a player's responsibility. At the end of the day, it's a player's responsibility to push for saying no to racism. Yes, saying no to sexism, saying no to all these different things, whether it be religion. But we can't just wear these, these captain armbands that say no to racism, or these captain armbands that are for Pride Month. I think that we have to do more, and I think we have to speak more and kind of come together as players, because you are a union. You are people who have this power. Because without you, the league doesn't stand a chance. So I think that's a big piece of it, that I think the league has done a great job in trying to help players use their platform for that good.
From your experience, is it more something that is a learned trait from inside the locker room and interactions, or is it I don't want to use the word hereditary, but a trait from outside the game that you bring in with you that you notice, or is it something that is found inside the game that is kept as a trait? Do you have any ideas to which direction it comes from, or is it a mix of both, do you think?
You mean discrimination?
Yeah, yeah. When you come across these kinds of discussions and players that have these thoughts and they'll think something inappropriate, is it a learned behavior, or is it something that's brought in?
I think it is a subconscious. It is a subconscious thought, right? Of we've all been there, we've all. I mean, I can recall we had these conversations as a group when we started playing as one. That I could recall in middle school, we would call each other a certain word, and that word is completely forbidden today, right?
Yeah.
And so there's certain things that I think you just you grow up with, or you don't realize the magnitude of what you're saying and how it can affect someone else. So I think being a part of something to where I think we had a lot of psychiatrists and psychologists on board when we first started this initiative, and one of the things that I learned is that you can't teach something to someone when they are already set in their ways. It's impossible. When somebody is set in their ways, you can't teach them anything, but you can help them navigate on how to find a way to kind of not necessarily be different, but sometimes just be more understanding. And I think that's a huge piece of it, is you're helping players be more understanding with that awareness mindset of everything around them. And I think that's a huge piece of what we do. There are going to be players in this league that have maybe been brought up or have maybe learned certain things that along the way, or the last year we focused on something called competitive stress, right? To where you want to win so badly, you'll say anything to mess with the other person, even if you don't mean it, right? So there's certain things that I think that can really bring out sometimes the worst of us, and that happens. Sometimes we're provoked enough to where we say something we completely regret, and I think within the league over the years, it's maybe before it was much more of a cancel culture, and I think now the league has really implemented a process to where it's a very much restorative process, and bringing back players in and helping players understand the magnitude of what they say and how they say it, how they act, and the platform that they have, like I said, to be those role models. And it's a pretty cool initiative to be a part of, because I think it exemplifies maybe like what myself and Parky try and teach kids, is that it is what makes you successful in your career is not the game. It is the elite personality that you have. And, I think that just is something I am very proud of, that the league gives me that platform to serve as a spokesperson and to serve as an example, to help teams and players understand how to act and how to be each and every day. So I think that just goes back to my whole entire career of one of the panels that I did before the Rookie Symposium was with every single community and player engagement staff of every single team, and how important it is to connect with the players to get them involved in the community and the platform that they have, and being involved in the foundations and organizations that they have, whether it be from Special Olympics, whether it be from the humane societies, and every opportunity that they have to just be involved with their community. And that was an awesome moment for me as well, and getting to share the stage with some of the staff from here from Atlanta United, and explaining how to build those relationships and how to bridge that gap between player engagement and community engagement staff with players. So there was a lot of good that was done last week. I'm so thankful that the league does those things. The Rookie Symposium, I think, who knows how long it's going to last with, how this league is continuously evolving. But I do think it is a massive asset to just help these young players come into the league and come to an understanding that the responsibilities that they have, but also the beauty of what it is to be a professional athlete. So I'm very thankful to be a part of that.
Yeah, and you've opened a large door for future conversations with us when you come by and visit on Fridays. So let me wrap up one last thing, because I know you've got a jet, both figuratively and literally. 2026 with Beyond Goals. What are you and Parky what's on the wish list for Beyond Goals in 2026?
Yeah, I think, as always, John, is for us. I have no complaints with or any certain different goals than what we have had and set from the very beginning of our creation, and I think it is continuously growing the game the best way possible that we can and the right way possible, and helping young athletes come to an understanding and a realization that the game that they play is much more than just kicking a ball out on a field or saving a shot. There are values that are to be taught. There are values to be learned and lessons that they can use and experiences and events that they can use for the rest of their lives. So, I think it is continuously doing the great work that Mike and I and now Zara are continuously doing, and growing a platform that is very holistic and experience based and just big brother, big sister relationship based. Because it takes a village for people to be successful in life. It can't just take one person, and it needs to take multiple people within their lives guiding them the right way. So we are a part of that village. We continue to build those pillars and being that village. So yeah, same goals as last year for me, to continuously grow and hit more heads in terms of growing what we do with Beyond Goals.
And we love it that you and Parky get to come and hang out with us and share these ideas and come out with a larger audience and are as welcoming as you are with us, so we can have the breaking of the bread and all these comments and stuff that is a great education for me and for everybody here at SDH. Thank you again, my friend, for doing this. Get out of here, go to the airport, have a fantastic tournament, have a great weekend, stay warm, be safe, all the things. We'll catch up with you soon. Thanks for dropping by on your way to the airport. Be safe, my friend.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Happy New Year to everyone. And yeah, be safe. Take care, bud.
All right, there we go. Greg Garza. And that's Greg's first appearance in 2026. It's always great to see Greg. And so, yeah, Greg is on his way to a tournament, and it's a big deal for the Garza family. And so we can't thank Greg and Parky enough for everything that they are able to impart here on Fridays when they get to come visit. Their lives are going 9,000 miles an hour. And the fact that they get to, that they take the time to stop here and visit with us to discuss these topics, it is in a way, if I could get my upper plate to work, it is in a way our own mentoring sessions. And it's reminders of things that we get to see on a daily basis. And when we get to bounce the questions in you get the down that is from them as they are growing beyond goals. So it's really important that we get to have these shared experiences. Like I said, it's great for me. I get to learn, and being the naturally inquisitive sort, you get to kind of find out what's going on a daily basis, and you get to learn. And that's the biggest thing, is learning as we all go forward. And so to be able to have Greg, to have Parky, I'd love to, and this is probably a conversation for the two of them, with the NWSL season coming up, I'd like to see if we could have Zara on to discuss what she's learning as a mentor now at Beyond Goals. And so at BG Mentoring on the Twitters, at MF Parkhurst on the Twitters, at BeyondGoalsMentoring.com on the World Wide Webs, and we get to have those kinds of experiences with them as we go on a weekly basis when they get to come in and drop by. So it's always really cool to have them come up and visit.